Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Ray from Guys in the Bowden Sports. Thank you for joining us on another week looking at all the things that are going on in sports. We got some college football, NFL, college basketball. I might even throw in some wrestling today. Who knows, you know? But thank y'all for joining us, for listening to Guys in the Bowden Sports every
Great
single
way to
week.
kick off.
Yeah. We might lose some wrestling. I don't care. I mean, there's not... From a sports perspective, right? There's not a lot of like really important stuff going on right now in some ways, but there's some stuff that's important as well. Things are going to make the NFL season next year. Things are going to make the college football season next year. And then obviously every game that's going on in the NCAA basketball isn't like super important right now because things have kind of played themselves out. But then again, you know, it's depending on who's going to get your 1 seeds, who's going to get your 2 seeds and so forth, who's going to win their conferences. And I mean, there's some stuff. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that, but we might even have some. No, we're not going to have wrestling. I'm just kidding.
Why not?
I could.
I mean, have you not seen the videos out right now of the little kids crying after what John Cena did?
Oh yeah,
have
that's
you seen those?
I've seen an interview with John Cena, but
I don't watch wrestling. Brother. He sold out.
He sold out. Oh, what did he do?
I may or may not follow a little bit.
What did he do?
So
all right, we're talking wrestling. This is a wrestling show.
Okay, so
we're talking wrestling.
Here's what I know. Now, sometimes because of Pat McAfee, every now and then I will watch what used to be called pay-per-views, but now you can watch them on Netflix.
Is he a wrestling fan?
He commentates on there now.
He's
been doing it for like 3 years.
Oh,
yeah.
geez, okay.
Yeah, he does Monday Night Raw.
I had no idea.
Anyway, so again, I don't follow enough to know, but I know that John Cena like set a record for like United Way Wishes or whatever it was called, Make a Wish. He's always been known as
the Make a Wish Foundation, right?
Yeah, John Cena's always been known as the guy that took care of kids and did the right thing. And he seems like a good guy, right? But guess on the last pay-per-view, The Rock has been back and he's a bad guy right now.
Oh, that was recently? Because I saw something.
It was Saturday night. It was this past Saturday night.
Oh, okay. So I saw something on Facebook and I was like, oh, this must be from like back in the day.
No, so The Rock's back and he calls himself the final boss. So I guess he's like taking over and he's supposed to be this kind of like a. He thinks he's running the show. I don't know.
Like on Contra, the final boss.
Right.
Can't beat him.
So apparently, Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes' kid, is supposed to be like the big baby face guy. He's like everybody loves him, and him and John Cena are going to face off at WrestleMania, and they were supposed to be hugging and getting along. And then when they hugged, like The Rock gave the cutthroat symbol to Cena, and then Cena kicked him in the nuts, and then started beating the shit, made him bleed, and then just stood up and stared in the crowd, started booing because Cena's supposed to be one of the. So now you got like it's almost. I mean, it's not because let's be honest. When we were in high school, when the NWO come around, that was a big deal, right?
Oh yeah.
They're trying to compare it to something like when Hogan turned. You know, not the same thing, but anyway, again.
So The Rock's a bad guy or Cena's a bad guy?
So both of them are bad guys.
Both of them are bad guys now.
Yeah, they're calling it heel Cena and heel Rock.
Okay.
So.
See, my wrestling days, I stopped watching it probably like 1993, 94. And
really?
It was like Ultimate Warrior, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Like it was like the end of that era.
So I quit right about the same time, but I was more WCW.
Oh, you were? Okay,
when Ric Flair went to the WWF in the early 90s, I quit. I got a little older too, so I didn't care about it so much. But then I hate to say it, when I got to college and I moved in with this house with some guys, when the Monday Night Wars were going on, I got back into it. And buddy, I loved Monday night. I couldn't wait for it.
Oh man, Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God! And then when we end up relocating back to West Virginia, and when I was working with the Guard up there and everything, we would go to Hooters in Charleston, West Virginia every month for a pay-per-view for like 3 years.
Damn.
So about 2000 after my.
So he is a nerd, actually.
Well, no. So but again,
tough guy nerd, by the way.
Well, after my son
not like a Star Wars.
After
nerd.
my son was born, I quit doing that stuff and quit watching it for years. And then my little boy, he became a huge John Cena fan in like 2007 or 8 when he was a little kid. So I would get the pay-per-views for him so he could watch it. But again, I'm not into it. But
has John Cena been wrestling the entire time then? Because The Rock was out of it for a while.
Yeah, they're both doing movies and stuff. So I don't know how. I mean,
Cena's been in a lot of movies.
I feel like I
don't watch a lot of movies, so
I feel like they come back.
I watch sport. The only thing I watch TV for is sports, and on Sunday morning I watch CBS Sunday Morning because I cook pancakes and bacon, and I watch that.
You mean the one that has that sun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Anyway, so hey. Listeners, thank y'all for joining us. That was our wrestling talk for the day. Now you know what happened with John Cena and The Rock.
Again, I'm not a wrestling guy. I just happen to know that.
No, that's fine. You know everything about sports.
I don't. No, I don't.
I mean, I'm going to be like, what's the best pickleball? You see that pickleball open last week, and you're like, oh, yeah, fucking, Stephanie Smith over there just whooped the crap out of Jeannie Hardaway.
Hans Hendrick. I don't know.
Ask him about professional baseball and hockey.
You got me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I do love baseball, but I don't know it as much as I used to.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing any baseball shows or any hockey shows anytime soon, so don't worry about that.
I like hockey too, but I just don't follow it enough to know everything.
So if you're listening and you like to follow the show, you can do that through their Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. We also have a Facebook page. The group's pretty fun. We've got some good activity going on in there, so you can join that. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and so forth. I post some clips from the show as well as other sports clips and stuff like that throughout the week. And then if you would like to support the show, you can do that through Venmoing us some cash at Guys of the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. It's at Guys of the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. So do that if you'd like to. And then we are going to get a shot going here because I got some Fireball, and some of us had a bad day today. So we're going to make it a little bit better day by doing a shot of Fireball. There you go. All right, there we go.
Wow.
I needed that too, Yeah, it's good, right?
It is good.
Yum. We are not sponsored by Fireball, by the way, but
if they'd like to.
If they want to sponsor us, we're totally open for it for sure.
Is it true Buffalo Trace makes Fireball?
There's no way.
Wow.
I mean, then again,
I think it does.
Yeah, they might. Who knows? We'll have the people in the back look it up. How's that? Oh, we don't have people in the back today because there's only 3 of us. We got Cheeks. How you doing, Cheeks?
I'm doing great.
Nice
Thanks.
to see you. We got a nice.
Glad I can make it.
We got an NFL heavy show for you today.
Yeah.
And Cheeks is super happy about that.
Yes, I
We're
am.
going to talk about the Combine a little bit really quick, okay? Travis Hunter doing an interview on the Combine. He's like, yeah, I'm going to play 100% of those snaps, man. I'm going to do 100% on the defense. I'm going to do 100% on the offense. Is there any NFL team that is going to allow him to do that? Because that is a short-lived career right there. You are injured after your first season, and they're guaranteed. What, they got to pay you for 5 seasons total?
Not so fast.
Not so fast. Hold on. I think I have a... Wait, that's the wrong one. I do have a not so fast somewhere around here. Not that one.
Yes, so fast,
Nope.
my friend.
Oh, wait.
Not so fast.
Not so fast, my
There
friend.
we
There we go.
So-
I can't even use my touchpad anymore, man. I forgot to use it. We haven't used it that much lately.
Aw.
Anyway, not so fast. What's going on?
So it depends on who's going to pick him up because the coaches rule, not Travis. He doesn't get to make all the calls.
No,
So-
he definitely, he had Deion Sanders as his coach at Jackson State, right?
Yeah.
And when you're playing at Jackson State, playing both sides of the ball works fine. At
Right.
Colorado, same thing. You could play both sides of the ball. It's dangerous, but he still played it, and
But now
he
he's
did
with the
well.
big boys.
And he's with the big boys. It's not like playing
Right. And
Texas Tech and
first on the
Kansas and
list-
Kansas State.
I mean, the Titans might pick him up. And the Titans have already said, yeah, we're going to start him off on one side of the ball, but we're not going to start him off on both sides of the ball. He's got to mature, and he's got to get used to our program, and then we'll consider it.
What do you think?
I mean, why not?
Why not?
Why not? I mean,
if they pay him double,
no, that's just it. He's on a rookie. He'd be on a rookie contract.
yeah.
You don't. I mean, really, let's be honest. That you get away with a lot more with rookies nowadays because they don't pay. Remember, Matthew Stafford was like the last one to get that crazy rookie. They quit that. Rookies still make pretty good money, but not what they used to. They were giving away their franchise for these rookies.
Doesn't first round get like $13 million a season or something?
No,
Or
I
is it
don't
$30 million total?
I think it's maybe $30 million total. I knew
Okay.
Jaden Daniels is not making $13 million. What I'm saying is the NFL.
So it might be 13. I think it's like $14 million a year if your first round. Not a year. I think it's total for the was it a 4-year contract?
4-year contract,
Yeah.
which is about
Yeah.
$3 million a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Which in today's terms is not much.
No, not for a high
When
performing
Matthew
player.
Stafford got $60 million.
Yeah.
When he got. But
I just think for Travis Hunter, it could be a bad decision for him to if a coach is willing to do it. You're going to say, I want to play both sides of the ball. And then all of a sudden,
Injury.
you're injured after the third season. And because there's a lot of hits that go on. A wide receiver has a little bit more longevity than like a running back, right? But and a cornerback has more longevity than some places as well because you're not taking hits every single time. But if you're going to play somewhere, maybe corner is probably, or safety is probably one of the more safe places you could play, right? But then again, you're still going to be taking hits. You're still going to be hitting people. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in that situation. But the wide receiver, one bad hit, man, concussion.
Well, the Browns end up with him.
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, he may get one back.
It could be a short-lived career. It's not like
Right.
careers are that long in the NFL. The average player plays for like 3 seasons or something like that.
Yeah,
But most of
the
that comes
average
from
career, yeah.
that comes from your linemen who are just getting just beat up every single play.
Yeah.
But still, it's different, man. I wouldn't do it.
The NFL has, we always talk about, you always hear this in the NFL, they have a package. I can see teams building a package for him where he, me personally, with his talent, if I'm not this may age bad, but I would put him on the defensive side of the ball and then build a package for him like 10 or 11 snaps on receiver. Even if it's a decoy. If he's out there, you've got to pay attention.
It really
to him.
depends on who picks him up too, because what are they looking for? What do they need? Do they need a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's true.
But he could step in if someone gets injured.
That's true. I mean, wide receivers, they're becoming very valuable now.
Yeah.
I still think that.
But he's like, what, 5'0"? I mean, he's a good receiver. He was not the best receiver in college football last year, by far, right? I think he was 25th or something.
Right, but I think the thing on him is he's a smart player and he runs he plays good. He runs good routes. He's able to read coverages.
But do you think he'll be an average wide receiver
in the NFL?
Yeah. I think he will be.
I mean, I don't know, because
he was spectacular at Colorado, but he wasn't top five receivers.
Let's look at the divisions too, because some divisions have stellar wide receivers and some not so much.
I mean, I'll give you T. Higgins. Just got franchise tagged by the Bengals. He could have got a lot of money. What do we know about T. Higgins coming out of college? He was a pretty good receiver at Clemson.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at him now. He's very coveted. Look, Debo Samuel just got traded to Washington.
I mean, somebody that knows the name, they're going to know D. Higgins, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't have claimed that T. Higgins is one of the best.
T. Higgins, sorry.
I wouldn't have been like, 5 years ago, I would have said, boy, T. Higgins can't miss. I guess what I'm saying is you just don't know. Like Cheek said, it depends on the team that gets him. But I mean, I don't know. I think why not see what he can do at both sides of the ball? Why not? I'm not mean every play. I don't mean 60 snaps. I mean, you have a package for the guy.
They'll see what he does on both sides of the ball during practices,
Yeah.
Well, during the preseason games, that's a great time to put him on both sides of the ball. Let's learn about him.
Well, they'll know rookie camp in May. They'll know what they're going to do with him.
Where are we going to put him? That's what they're going to figure out. And he's going to be saying, I want to play both sides of the ball. That's not happening in the NFL.
Well, I think some of that is just telling the coach, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
No, and that's true, yeah.
I mean, some of that's just interview technique, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Now, Tim Tebow is famous for not doing that, and he probably should have. I'll play tight end, coach. He should have done that. So,
yeah. What do y'all think about Shedeur Sanders? I'm slipping down to a topic just because we're staying on the whole combine that just happened. Shedeur Sanders didn't participate in the combine at all.
That's a little cocky.
At all. So he was there for moral support for his other teammates who were at the combine. That was about it. So is what he said.
He didn't interview or anything.
He didn't do anything. Yeah.
He's got a pro day coming up, I'm sure.
No, they have a Colorado pro day coming up, but he's going to be there to feature his players as well, which that's fine. I think that's actually noble of him to do that. That I'm going to go there and I'm going to try to give as much support as I can to the combine to the players that are on my team. So, sort of,
Again, that's a calculated move. That's a team player move, right? We've been told he's not a team player based on what we see, but maybe he is a team player.
Yeah, but I think he's just cocky as shit.
He's very cocky, but I also think his cocky dad probably has something to do with that.
I was going to say, who was his dad again? Prime time? Dion?
Yeah, because last week we were saying that, when you hire Shedeur, you're also hiring Dion, right? Somehow they come as a package in some way.
I don't know.
Even though I like the fact that he in some way he's willing to try to feature the players that are on his team that are trying to get drafted and blah 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 blah. I think it just looks so cocky, man. Like
it does.
You are not guaranteed to be the number one draft pick quarterback in the country. Cam Ward is, right? I mean, that's almost 100%. Cam
Ward's better than he is.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that if you compare Cam Ward and you throw some of those other players in that are the quarterbacks that are in as well, like I think that you need to compete to see where you're going to place, man.
Yeah.
Unless you already have it lined up. I don't know. And I think his dad probably has it lined up for him. So
possibility of that.
I was going to say, I feel like that he made a comment. I think it was him that made a comment.
Okay.
That he wanted to play for the Raiders back during the season.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
You're
and
right.
the Raiders are sitting around, 6 or 7? So maybe it's already written in the stars that he's going to. And by the way, Tom Brady has been mentoring him. And who's a minority owner of the Oakland Raiders?
Oh, okay.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe. I mean, now granted, you're right. He's cocky, and I think it was twofold. I'm there to show I'm a team player. I can support my people, but on the other side, I'm too good to participate in this. I don't need to do it.
Let's make sure that I do not go too early, so that I can go to the Raiders.
I mean, which would be
they've already said they will.
An ultimate cocky move. I'm like actually impressed too many people, and they take me. I mean,
yeah, I know, man. Right? I mean, I don't know what to think about the guy.
I'm leaving. we beat him up pretty good during the season because of I'm sure you guys beat him up 2 seasons ago, but last year we were on him pretty hard about his antics. And
No,
shit.
we were on his ass.
I'm
Yeah.
seasons ago.
I'm going to sit back and just see what happens. If he
Okay.
comes out and he's a great pro, then
Yeah.
you're just going to have to give it to him.
He got.
I mean, what are you going to say? I mean,
Well, he might be as great as Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Caleb. I think some of that is his situation. I mean, the Bears are.
He's got a new coach.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's a head case.
Raiders have a new coach too.
Yeah, there's a lot going
Yeah,
on there.
and by the way,
That's very exciting. Actually, I think that was a good move on the Raiders'
and
part.
I said this last week. What better coach to coach a guy like him than Pete Carroll?
yeah, oh, yeah,
I mean, the guy dealt with the Legion of Boom. I mean, I was dealing with egos and
Egos. Yeah.
that deep.
yeah. I always liked Pete Carroll as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he handled the USC job. I mean, that USC, people can say, well, it's college. Yeah, but that wasn't college back then. That USC was like a Hollywood show. I mean, you had all the stars on the sidelines. It was a different atmosphere back in the mid-2000s with them.
Yeah,
So I remember when Dion first started coming into the conversation when he was at Jackson State, right? I was saying, man, if he goes into one of the at the time it was Power 5 conferences, he's gonna have no problem recruiting. He's gonna have no problem having a number 1 team very quickly, very soon. I may have spoke too soon because he's in the Big 12, and I don't think that's the place where you're going to have the number 1 team in the country, right?
No,
but
not
he's able
necessarily.
to recruit. He's not recruiting well because he's not really focusing on the high school recruiting. He's trying to get people that have already played, so he's using the portal more, and he's able to do that very well. I think they're top 10 recruiting in the portal every single season, which is hard for a Big 12 team to do in the first place. But I always said, if you're sitting there on the couch with your dad and Deion Sanders walks through the door, it's because your dad was like all bright-eyed, like, holy crap, Deion Sanders is coming here to talk to you, right? And he would have no problem getting into most homes because of that. He's not doing the high school recruiting, though. But I don't know. Like, I think that if you're looking at Shedeur Sanders, I mean, he's a pretty good football player, you know? You could build a team around the guy, and you also have that pedigree, and people are going to be like, oh, yeah, Shedeur, same thing what I was saying about his dad. People are going to be willing to come talk to him on the couch, right? You're going to have no problem in that sense getting people to want to go play with Shedeur.
I just want to see Deion Sanders, the coach.
the coach.
yes. And here's my theory on that.
Yeah.
My theory on that is he wasn't quite ready to go into the pros, so I think Jerry Jones got a disposable coach.
You think so?
I mean, that's the guy Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah, they got his disposable coach, and I think Deion's going to be the coach for 2026.
I want to see Deion. I mean, because I felt like he's coached 2 of his boys, and Travis Hunter was like a son to him anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to see him coach guys that aren't his boys.
Yeah.
I want to see how that looks.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet. Even at Jackson State, we didn't see that. So
Yep.
I want to see Deion the coach now.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure he's going to have favorites. I'm sure he is.
But I think that's part of the high school non-recruiting, too, because I think that he's short-sighted. Like, he's like, I'm not going to be here the next year. I don't care.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm not going to build a team from scratch. I'm just going to
Right.
recruit or get the best people I can out of the portal.
And to be fair, Colorado is not that program where you can do that. Alabama's, Georgia's, they can go into high schools and reap them. I mean, he's what he's doing.
But you're Deion Sanders, man.
Yeah, I know,
You could say,
Yeah, the
hey,
name doesn't-
I'm coming to your house tomorrow night. I mean, I don't know, but that's not his.
He don't
it's
have
not his
that-
MO.
If I'm a high prospect and I have Deion Sanders on this side and I have Kirby Smart over here, I'm going to Kirby Smart. Because
Yeah.
there's a pedigree there.
There is a pedigree
It's
there.
like if Nick
I've won
Saban-
national championships.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get. I mean, what Nick Deion hasn't built that pedigree. I mean, what has he put in the pros yet? Besides Shedeur, who hasn't been drafted, and Henry, what else? Or Travis Hunter. I'm sorry, I keep saying Travis Hunter.
That's fine.
What other player has he put in the pros yet? Can you name them?
No, you can't because
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually kind of short-term.
But we can
for
sit here all
him.
day and name Kirby Smart players.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have
But
15 a year. Or
But
something
Deion
like
came out today against NIL.
I don't understand. I mean, I had to see it, but I heard about that.
Yeah, so
that. What do you say?
he was talking about how the powers that be need to get it in check because there's fake agents out there who are
There are.
yeah, and
No, he's right about that.
he started calling out them not doing anything and they need to get their shit together.
I'll give again back to my boy Pat McAfee. He has been, McAfee is a pro player guy.
Yeah.
But he has been jumping up and down, and he has a voice to do it. He's been jumping up and down saying, you got to get this under control. You have to have some kind of mechanism in place to control this.
I mean, it's going to screw a lot of kids because it's the Wild West still.
That's his point. It's screwing.
That's
it's not,
exactly
it's
what
not
Dean
screwing
called
the, it's
it,
not
was
screwing
the
the
Wild
team.
Wild
It's screwing the kids.
No, I could go
Yeah.
to the local. I could go to the local football team down, down the street and say, "Oh yeah, I'm representing so and so," and I could, really screw your family.
Yeah.
at that
I'm
point.
from Florida. I'm here to. I'm an agent.
Yep.
Well, as we know, the debate between the UNLV quarterback swears up and down he was promised money, and the recruiter said, "We never promised you." And it's not
Never
writing.
promised you anything. Yeah, yeah, and there's the Wild West out there, and a lot of kids are getting screwed. It's not good for.
No.
It's not good for the students. They're the players. It's not good for anyone. You need to have some sort of bylaws or something to happen.
exactly what
NCAA
Deion
needs to
said.
figure out how to wind that down.
This is the one time that we've all agreed with Deion.
This is what McAfee said too. It's about the player, not about the school. The school's
is,
been getting
yeah.
away with shit for
Right,
years. It's,
right.
it's the player. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Debo Samuel is traded to the 49ers. Played at Carolina.
Traded from the 49ers.
From the
From the 49ers. Sorry,
to the Commanders.
Hold on, to the Commanders. 5th round pick. Is that cheap? Is that an inexpensive? Is that?
The Commanders got a deal.
Yeah, they got a deal, man.
Now listen. If you look at it, you go, "Wow, we got a deal."
We got a deal.
I have to go back and look. How did Debo play last year? I feel like he was hurt.
Okay.
He was.
Yeah.
And there's
He's
been a
aging.
couple. There's been a couple seasons where he's had some injuries and so forth.
Yeah, but this gives you power.
Yeah, I feel like Frankie.
How old is he though? He was only drafted like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Frankie Louvu, or your buddy over there, Cheeks, Frankie Louvu, who jumped over the line through. He's been saying all along because remember he came from Carolina. He got traded
I do
from
love
Carolina.
him.
Yeah, I do too. He's a good player. I know he had his little episode there, but he said that he's got buddies around the league who's like, I want to come play for Washington. Mm-hmm. And Bobby Wagner, as old as he is, him and Zach Ertz's leadership alone on that team made so much of a difference. And you bring in guys like Debo and there's probably some others out there. That's what you got to have some leadership around that you build like the Patriots have with Tom Brady. This is how it's going to be. This is how we're going to play.
Yeah.
And that team needs it, and they're getting it. So I think Debo he's a good player, but I think there's a lot of veteran leadership brought into that.
Yeah,
too.
and he was complaining about being unused properly.
Yeah, he remember about 3 seasons ago they made him a running back because they didn't have a running back. Remember that? And then he had his contract redone so he'd get paid more because they were treating him like a running back and a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And then they went and got McCaffrey, and then I think it kind of screwed him a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Again, and of course last year the other receiver for the 49ers, everyone was trying to get him last year, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then he wound up just signing back with the 49ers and then blew his Achilles out in like week 2. So,
Yeah.
what was it? I can't think of his name. Dang.
Yeah.
I don't know, but part of the reason why they were happy to give him up to the Commanders is because of Brock Purdy. Because he had a contract extension and they wanted to sign that. They needed to free up that money.
So there's also a connection there. We've seen this in the past. Bill Belichick would make deals with certain guys that he had worked with in the past, the Chiefs, even the 49ers a little bit. But the Washington GM was the assistant GM with the 49ers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there was a little bit of
Yeah, they're already acquainted.
goodwill there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another one that's acquainted to him too. I can't remember who it was.
I don't know. I just know that he
had connections, but with 2 guys over at the Commanders.
Peters worked under Lynch. I know that.
Yeah.
So,
Is he going to make a big difference over there at Washington?
well, I mean, you got to think. I mean,
Yeah.
look, Terry McLaurin, and I'm not just being a homer here. He doesn't get his flowers.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has been a 1,000-yard receiver, 10 touchdown, with shit at quarterback until this year. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at some of the quarterbacks that guy has played with and still got the yards, and he had never had a number 2. And I mean, if Debo can accept that he's number 2, because McLaurin is a number 1, then yes, he will make a huge difference.
You know, another thing it does is just throw somebody there that other players know. Hey, they
gotta guard him too.
You
Yep.
got to guard him too,
Yep.
and it frees up the 3rd and 4th guy.
And, right, and that was the one problem that McLaurin, I thought he played in the NFC Championship game. He played pretty well, but the Eagles kind of shut him down twice because he was the only guy, and the Eagles have such a good defensive secondary that once you cover him up, you ain't got to worry about anybody else, and it works. So by the way, I hope that we're looking at Philadelphia and making moves because we have to beat them.
You got to beat them.
That's the team that's standing in our way right now.
That is them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey is playing next season.
Doesn't surprise me.
Nobody
Doesn't
cares.
surprise you. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, and I'm
Especially
watching the
you don't
stats
care.
go down. No, yeah. He's distracted. No, I don't care.
Okay, he's too busy spending weekends in Brazil with his
Yeah.
fiance. Or are they getting
not
married?
yet.
Nothing happened yet.
Not yet.
I mean,
because he didn't win the Super Bowl.
for his pocketbook, why wouldn't he play?
No, you might as well. Yeah.
I mean, the longer he's out there playing football, that's still endorsements.
yeah, and the Chiefs are going to keep him because they get screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get 8:00 games.
And he thinks that they still have the Super Bowl next year. He thinks that.
Well, I mean, hey, guys, the Chiefs are.
No, they're going to be.
They're still the favorite to win the AFC.
They're
Right.
going to be
Right.
They're going to be in the
So
Super
he
Bowl.
wants to go out
most
on
likely.
top, unlike his brother. His brother did not go out on top.
No, I don't want to hear about the Bengals or the Bills. The Chiefs are still. I mean, they're the team. I'm sorry.
I mean, Bills have some work to do for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals have beaten them before, but last year they had ridiculous stats between Burrow and those receivers, and they didn't make the playoffs. So I don't want to hear it. The Chiefs are still the team to beat.
Yeah.
They're saying Anthony Richardson, which I think he was drafted way too early.
Yeah, about 3 rounds too early.
Yeah, but 3 rounds too early, but also 2 or at least a year too early.
he should have went back. Yeah.
He should have stayed with Florida for a little bit longer. I mean, he didn't even have a good season the last year he played in Florida.
Did he leave because of coaching change, or
No.
he played for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was no coaching change. He was there for 1 season, and then the following season, he was like, "Okay, I'm going to go play in the NFL."
Big mistake.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. He got benched halfway through the season this year.
Well, he also admitted that he tapped out because he got tired.
Really?
Yeah, week 4 or 5, he tapped himself out. And then in the press conference, they're like, "Hey, Anthony, are you hurt? Were you okay?" He's like, "I'll just be honest, guys, I was tired." And that's when he got benched.
Oh wow.
They benched
I
him
would
bec-
bench him too.
That's why
yeah,
they benched
for
him.
sure, yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta
yeah,
have it,
I mean, that was like, Jesus, guys, you cannot say that. I mean,
No.
lie. Say,
Yeah.
I twisted my ankle or something, but you say because you got tired. I mean, in the third quarter of an NFL game, you're the franchise quarterback. You were the 5th pick.
Oh, yeah.
You need to go coach high school football.
That's why he got benched.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be competing next season for someone, either a draft or a free agent, for the starting job at Indianapolis. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but I had that on there only because I'm a Florida fan. And
I figured that. I looked at that and went,
You're like,
why
why
is
on
he even
earth-
on our radar?
why did he even bring up Anthony Richardson?
Well, I mean, look, he has potential to be a first round bust.
No, he's a first round bust.
But
so
I'll say
so
this.
far.
I'll say this. Whoever advised him to go really did him a disservice.
Yeah.
He had potential to really grow.
He could have been a Heisman Trophy winner. He
yeah.
could have been.
He had potential.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
He would have been a great help this year.
I tell you what, he's not far off from the guy from Lagway.
Yeah.
And people need to tell Lagway, stay.
Yeah.
Stay, yeah.
You've got so much more growing to do.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he'll be there. He's there next season, and I suppose he'll be there following season because he was a true freshman last year.
Good. I mean,
But looking at the candidates for the Colts,
well, they're a top. What are they? Top 12? They're in the top 15.
yeah, they could get one of those, but one of the good quarterbacks. But I've
They're
heard
gonna
that
have to
because they were trying to get Matthew Stafford, I think.
Yeah. They were in the,
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is the Colts are just so
blah.
boring. Yeah, nobody wants to go there. I mean, they have the
No.
money, but the quarterback. I'll be honest with you. Outside of Cam Ward, maybe Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback class. I might end up eating my words this time next year because I was very down on Daniels, right? But the quarterback class this year just doesn't seem.
You think Daniels?
When last year I poo-pooed Daniel. Oh, he ain't that good. And the Redskins, they reached to get him. I was so wrong about him.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this draft this year, I don't.
Yeah.
Outside of Cam Ward and maybe Shedeur, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, they're good quarterbacks, but are they pro? Who knows, right? I mean, but
Right. You never know till they're inserted into the program.
I mean, will you? Are they first round good? Are you willing to give up your? I mean, you've already made a mistake with Richardson. You're gonna make another mistake on who's a guy? I mean, on
Johnny
on
Manziel.
Quentin Ewers. I mean, is Quentin Ewers the guy? I mean, I don't know. So
Okay, so there are some NFL free agents at quarterback that are out there right now, and that's Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo.
I have my feelings on all of them.
Yeah, but those are places where Indianapolis can say, "Hey, you know what? Let's try to grab one of these guys."
But they would be foolish to take people like Jameis Winston and Garoppolo. Garoppolo needs to retire.
He's 33. I mean, he's got,
I know, but
got-
his statistics don't say I've got more left in me.
yeah, he had a little bit of a window there,
Yeah.
And you're right because remember the Colts, they went and got Carson Wentz, that didn't go well.
No.
Then they went and got Matt Ryan, that didn't go well.
Yeah.
They had Joe Flacco playing decent, cut him so they could draft Richardson. I mean, of all those quarterbacks, I would say Justin Fields would be the one I would take a risk on. If I'm the Steelers, I would try to bring him back.
Yeah, he's the youngest of the
Yes.
that group as well. that
He
are
showed a
free
lot of
agents.
promise when he played for Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah, and you give him the shot. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're Indianapolis and you wanted to pull a Justin Fields, that would be fine.
Yeah. I mean, Russell Wilson, I mean, I mean, again, he looked decent last year. He looked more like
did.
the Russell Wilson of old.
But nobody's willing to invest in him.
No, he's the oldest one of that group.
Yeah.
He's 36.
Yeah.
I mean, how many seasons do you really have? Not everyone's Tom Brady, you know?
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I can see Russell Wilson not getting signed, and then a team loses a quarterback in week 4 and they sign Russell.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that would
like
be
they've tried with Cam Newton before.
Well, Flacco. That's been Flacco's career lately. It's just I'll come in and relieve you when somebody gets hurt.
Wasn't Jameis Winston a Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been a flop, hasn't he?
Horrible, yeah.
Yeah.
He had one good season with
When you
Tampa
steal
Bay.
crab legs, I mean,
Out of all of the seasons he's played with all of the teams,
Yeah.
But you
he's
know-
had one winning season, 9-7, and that's it.
But you know what? Had the Browns went away from Watson last year, he would have gave them more chances to win.
you think so?
I mean, he didn't play that bad last year. I mean, he's still an interception machine. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but he was, what do you call it? What is was the term? He's a gamer. I mean, he had the Browns in a lot of games. Like, he beat the Steelers in a snow in a blizzard, and then but they just stuck to Watson for like 5 or 6 weeks, and it just wasn't there for him. And then when they put him in, he wins right away. You know, I don't know. I mean,
But
like
he has a habit of doing that. He did that for the Saints, too, where they
did.
put him in and he
did.
looked like the new kid next
Yeah.
door, and then he flatlined.
I guess what I'm saying is he's probably well worth a good backup quarterback. He's somebody you can lean on if you need to put him in there.
He's not going to
like-
the Super Bowl, but he is a good backup quarterback.
He's gonna get you 500. If
Yeah.
If you need 4 games out of him, he'll get you 2 and 2.
He's
Yeah.
like, what's
Agreed.
the Heisman Trophy winner from Oregon back in 2012?
Mariota. He's
Marcus
right. He's also a free agent, by the way.
Yeah, he's very similar to Marcus Mariota, you know? Like,
But by the way, when he came in and played for us, all he did was win, baby. I mean, he was 3-0. Oh well, he was technically 1-0.
all he does is win.
But he was
no
technically
matter
1-0,
what.
but he relieved Jaden Daniels against Cowboys, brought him back a 1. He came in when he got hurt against the Panthers and closed that game out. And then Mariota started a game and won. So
Okay.
he's played well. You know, I mean, of course, Washington's system might be his thing, right? But
He's a good backup quarterback.
he's a good backup quarterback.
So I might have threw this question in without giving you all the show notes on this, but I just thought it was a good question. Expectations are pretty high for Bill Belichick going at UNC right now. Do you think they should be tampering the expectations just a bit on him?
Yes. I don't.
It's going to be his first year in.
There's a lot of expectations. Like, there's a lot of news stories about this guy, man. Every time he does anything, but he hired his son as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Like, every time a coach hires their son to do something, they don't. I just feel like coaches' sons that get the free job are not going to be the best choice for that job, you know?
I just.
Ask Buddy Ryan.
I mean, we're
No, look, certain coaches like Spurrier and Bowden, both Florida guys, right? Florida State, Florida, like they had their sons working for them, and
well. Bowden's two or three of them went on to coach. So
yeah, coach, and they didn't do that well. What, Auburn? Was it Auburn?
Well, he was undefeated at Auburn,
Yeah, okay.
and then the one that coached at Clemson, he coached well enough. I mean,
I guess that's true.
I mean,
Okay.
8-3 was pretty good every year back then.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I guess, but I know what you're saying.
I just feel like when you're handed a job, man, like it'd be like,
I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Belichick was coaching the Cleveland Browns, and he had one good year, and the rest was shit. And then I remember when he got the job at New England. His first 2 seasons were garbage, and he was going to get fired that 3rd season. And Tom Brady came in. Nobody seems to remember that Belichick wasn't that great without Tom Brady.
they were fine without Tom Brady.
What? I
When?
disagree. Yeah.
When?
The season that they had with
Yeah, okay. When Matt Castle came in, that team was coming off a 16-0 season.
They were
They
already
were very
good guys in place.
Yeah, still had Randy Moss and
Yeah.
Vrabel and all those guys. But when Tom Brady retired, what happened? You know,
yeah, you're not.
shit went bad
They went very bad. Yeah,
for like 2, 3. How many seasons he coached without Brady? 3.
yeah, and
He won 4 games,
Yeah.
3 games. I'm not saying the guy can coach. When he was defensive coordinator for the Giants, he was the man, and the Jets too. He was the man. Mm-hmm. I just think that people are.
I think they're building him up too
I
much
do
right
too.
now.
It's
Maybe it's his hot girlfriend. They're just like,
Yeah.
you know, if he could pull that, he could definitely coach a team. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So,
well, that's what the coach of Penn State. What's his name? Help me out here.
yeah, my brain only works whenever I have
James.
notes in front of me.
Yeah, James Franklin. When he coached at Vanderbilt, he said he only hired coaches who had pretty wives
Okay.
because if they were confident enough to lure in a pretty woman, they could probably coach a bunch of kids.
Oh, that's freaking great.
He
man.
said that.
Okay. Damn. Auburn gets the number 4 overall. They have the number 4 overall transfer class right now.
Yeah.
They got Eric Singleton. They have Xavier Chaplin. They have Horatio Fields. And then they got someone from Georgia Tech. Okay. Anyway, that being said, the most important person they got was Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we saw him play.
They just have, but
I mean,
yeah, I mean Oklahoma, but yeah, Oklahoma.
it's still Oklahoma. I mean,
It's Oklahoma.
You can't say they're bad. I mean, they were bad this year, but he might have been part of the problem.
You think he was?
I mean,
that's why he's not there.
He was
sure.
he was highly rated, and he didn't play well for Oklahoma at all. And they're Oklahoma. They're not Indiana. I mean, they're Oklahoma, for Christ's sake. I mean,
I think Auburn might be someone to watch this season, though, man. With
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm still high on.
They have potential.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm still high on Freeze. They were a quarterback away last year from being decent.
yeah, he has. They just said that he was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
Pancreatic
Yeah.
cancer. Yeah.
Well, now didn't he have something like that when he was at Liberty? I thought he was pretty sick at Liberty too.
Oh, was he?
Because there was one game where
God, I
he
hope
coached.
gets
He
through it,
coached
man.
from the
That's so
hospital
sad.
bed.
Okay.
I don't remember
Isn't
what.
it's prostate cancer, right?
Is it prostate?
I think it's prostate.
I think
don't know my
this might
cancers,
be.
man.
Yeah.
He might be coming back on him. I'm almost positive he was pretty sick at Liberty at one time.
Okay. I didn't read the article. It's kind of sad, but I mean, that being said, a good season can really, boost your morale, hopefully.
That or
wipe you out.
there's a coach in waiting that's going to come in there and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but anyway, that being said, Auburn, somebody to watch this season for sure.
Yeah.
Having the number 4 overall class, I mean that's solid, man. For a team, I mean, Auburn has a legacy, obviously, right?
and they got money too.
And they got money. I mean, and they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing the SEC or they're going to be playing the best teams in the SEC, especially Alabama. So
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think they're good, man. I think there's someone to watch out for.
Yeah, they got to play Alabama and Georgia every year.
You know what? Their over under is right now. Betting odds is like 8.5.
And a 12
8.5 wins on a 12-game season. Is that crazy?
That's a tough one though.
Yeah, no shit, right?
I mean,
would
do
take
they
the
win
under on
9
that.
games?
I'm going to take the under on that.
Yeah.
Are they 8-4?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. What's
yeah,
Alabama's?
9.5. All right, so actually, I have that on my. I have that as the next topic. So betting odds right now, the only teams that are showing over 10 wins, so 10.5 wins, are in the Big Ten. You got Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, and Notre Dame. Notice that there's nobody in the ACC.
I was going to say, what happened to
SEC,
Clemson?
Huh?
What happened
There's
to
nobody in
Clemson?
the ACC,
Wow.
SEC, or ACC, SEC, or Big 12. There's nobody in any of those conferences that have predicted over 10 wins. They're all 9.5 or 8.5. And it's just because
But the Big Ten is such a soft conference, man.
it's not that it's soft. It's so lopsided, right?
It's top heavy.
Yeah, it's top
I mean,
heavy
all three
for
of those
sure.
teams. Let's say all those 3 of those teams beat each other. They're
Yeah.
still 11-1.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's the problem. So the Big 12, make fun of them all you want. They beat each other up like the SEC.
I think the Big 12, the highest over under on that was 8.5.
Yeah, the Big 12 beats each other up
Ridiculous.
like the SEC. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not as good as the SEC. I know that, but they beat each other up. The ACC, I think they're just down. But the Big Ten is just it's a joke, man. It's Ohio State, it's Penn State, it's Oregon.
That's it.
And I bet Michigan has a better year this year.
Yeah, Michigan I think was 9.5.
Yeah, okay.
So they're, but I mean,
But then you got Michigan State just terrible. You got Rutgers. You got
Yeah.
Maryland. You got
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota. You got down Wisconsin.
And what's the problem with those teams? Like, it's not like a bunch of people in Maryland are like big giant college football fans. You
Well,
know,
I mean,
like it's not like the SEC. The reason why the SEC
Yeah.
is, I mean, you got great players at all of the schools except for like Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, right? Every school can compete in some way every single season, no matter what, and it's because the fans are fucking there every single week, raging, playing. If you go to a Maryland game, I bet half the seats are not even there.
Well, I mean,
Or-
Chopper said it, and it's right. I like to poo-poo it, but he's right. It just means more. In other words, no, I
to
mean,
the fans, it does.
I mean, think about this. I mean, historically, the Northeast in that area has always been basketball, and this area has always been football. It's always been that way,
for sure.
and it's just how it's going to be. So you're right. People in Maryland and the Washington D.C. area, kind of the same problem in Los Angeles. There's just a lot of things to do. There's a lot more other stuff. You got the Capitals, you got the Redskins, you got the Ravens, you got the Orioles, you got the Nationals, you've got the city. Auburn, Alabama. You ever been there?
Yeah, there's not much there.
There ain't
going on.
much there. You ever been to? I mean, Knoxville's not that big of a town. I mean, Columbia, South Carolina ain't very big.
Nope.
I mean,
We got a minor league baseball team.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is life. This
Yeah.
is their shit. Like, that's why it means so much in West Virginia.
Yeah.
because there's nothing else there,
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State has an enormous tradition for football. So does Penn State. So does Oregon.
And I'll say
so
this.
does Michigan. Those teams are always going to be
Yeah.
at the top. And even Nebraska, like, they're going to rise to the top in some way as well.
Right,
at
that's
the
all they
Big
got.
Ten, because that's all they freaking got out there.
But even if there's 5 and 6 every year, the fans, 90,000 people, still go watch the games.
Yeah.
Maryland could be 11-1, and they still may not fill their stadium up.
And Rutgers the same way.
I mean, Rutgers-
Indiana probably. They were 11-1 at the end of the season, weren't they?
Who?
Indiana, or were they 10-2 at the end of the season?
11-1.
11-1, yeah, and they were 11-1, and like, it's not like you look at the stadium and it was not full every single game.
Rutgers in the heyday of the Big East when Ray Rice was there and everything. I mean, they beat the number 2 ranked at the time. USF was number 2 in the country, and they beat them. It didn't mean nothing. I mean, I don't know. Again, the only football team in the Northeast that ever had a big following and did anything was Syracuse.
Yeah.
From back in the day. And even now, that's not the case anymore.
Are you not considering Penn State?
No, Penn State.
They've always had a good tradition there for
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, they were kind of.
But they're also in the middle of Never Land.
They are in the
Happy
middle.
Valley
They are in the
is
middle of
not-
nowhere.
Yeah, it's not in Pittsburgh. It's not in Philly.
Right. I mean, yeah.
They'll fill their stadium every
Yeah.
game.
But again, anybody that was Rutgers and I guess a lot of New Yorkers did like Penn State.
Well, and Rutgers is halfway between New York and Philadelphia.
yeah.
So.
But again, it's almost like you look at Vanderbilt. It's in Nashville, but it's a smart school. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just not going to. I mean, I think Rutgers a prestigious school, or is it just a generic?
No.
Okay, so
we called it high school. The next grade.
Hold
We
on.
called it 13th grade. Because I went to high school in Pensacola, New Jersey.
We have a friend.
and you either
we
went
have
to
a friend that
Rutgers
went-
or Rowan.
You and I have a mutual friend that went to Rutgers, and she would say something differently, I'm sure.
No, she would
See,
not.
that
She
makes-
would not. That's why she went on to get a
Okay.
law degree and then on to get an engineering degree.
okay.
See, that
She went
makes
to
sense.
Drexel. Drexel's prestigious.
That makes
Rutgers
that makes me
not.
feel bad about West Virginia because all the New Jersey kids go to West Virginia, and I just assume they go there because they can't get into Rutgers. But if Rutgers is a bonehead school, then how bad is West Virginia?
No, Rutgers is a great school. It's a big school. It's a great school, and it's right next to Johnson & Johnson. You know how many interns they get?
Yeah.
It is pretty freaking amazing to go there. But you also have Rutgers of Camden too, where everybody gets their teaching degrees.
It's just like the big city, like for example, Phoenix, Arizona. I love Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't Arizona State a better football team? There's just too much going on, too much fun. USC, UCLA. You go to Eugene, Oregon, up in the Northwest, not much going on. Nike's got some backing there. You got a good fan base, good football team. I just think you look at the location.
You see 60,000 people as well. So the stadium matches the fan base. basically.
You don't have to have a behemoth to have a big crowd. You know what I mean? It just means more in the Southeast. I hate saying that, but it's true.
No, you see it now that you live here, right?
Well, I've always known it. I just drives me
Hard to admit it, huh?
Yeah.
Still hate the SEC.
I don't hate them.
Still
You hate 'em.
dislike the SEC.
I still watch their football. No, I don't hate them. I think the people here have gotten really, not here, but in the SEC have gotten real jaded. Mm-hmm. I really think they think their teams could play in the NFL, and they could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you're looking at
You're right.
You're looking at Carolina, right? And like they fill the stadium every game.
Absolutely.
You
This
know?
is the hottest ticket in town.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's the non-conference games where you look up in the back corner. There's some seats that they're sold, but there's
By
no one in
halftime,
them.
they're gone.
Yeah.
They're sold, but the person was like, you know what, that was $20. Screw it, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you go to a Clemson game, you go to a Florida game,
That
you go
Missouri
to
game, we were at the Missouri game, and
yeah,
man, it was
was-
electrifying. For a Missouri game, it was electrifying.
it was electrifying.
Well, and think about the tailgating just in the South alone.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Try and do that kind of a tailgate on the West Coast, like around UCLA. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you when I went out to Texas, like the tailgate was crap?
Yeah, you said that
Yeah.
they're playing Florida Gators, and you said it was just so generic.
There was no. It just to me, it was not an SEC environment. They're gonna get to that point, but I mean, they have their traditions that they're doing and stuff like that. But and I'm not saying it was crap. Like it was actually, I had a good time. It was fun, but it was not the same sort of electrifying experience you get when you go to a Gators game where the entire campus is full of cars. You just find a place to park and you just throw out your tailgate and you start partying, right? Like every square inch of grass on that campus can have people there. And they don't care where you park as long as you just, as long as you act respectful, right?
That's how Michigan was.
Yeah, but in Texas, like there was no tailgating on campus.
That's weird.
And the campus is so damn big, you had to go way the hell outside of the campus to park. And then you're walking past just buildings and so forth, and there's just all this empty space. Then you get directly around the stadium, and there's some quote unquote tailgates, but there's no tailgates because there's no cars, there's no trucks, right?
And that's surprising
So-
because football is so big in Texas.
It is, yeah. And that, I mean,
And
Lifestyle.
Austin's a fun town from what I've heard.
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
and
a
it's a
lifestyle.
great town. And when you go to those games, I mean, the fans are into it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of old school traditional stuff with the band, and there wasn't like there damn sure wasn't anything like Sandstorm going on, you know.
Wow.
And there was nothing like, I mean, for Florida specifically, they played Won't Back Down by, you know, at fourth
Petty.
quarter
Yeah.
by Tom Petty, and it's like the entire stadium's lit up with phones, and I mean, it's just crazy. And there was nothing like that at Texas that gets the fans like into it.
Now it was a noon game, correct?
Yeah, it was a noon
Sometimes, and it was
Little
October,
different.
November.
It was November, yeah.
You guys came in pretty. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not.
It's an SEC game, though, man.
I know. I'm just saying it. Just like WVU, if you ever have a chance to go, and I tell you, go, but go to a 3:30, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock game. Don't go to a noon game. They're just the atmosphere just isn't the same. I was so pissed off when we played Penn State at noon last year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that we were going to beat them.
Wasn't that the first game of the year?
Yeah, big noon. But I mean, well, the game didn't finish till almost 7 o'clock because of that bad storm. But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it's just a different world when you go to a game.
But coming from California, I'm originally from California, although I went to high school in New Jersey. But coming from California and moving here and going to my first tailgate, and it was not a late tailgate, it was an early tailgate, I was overwhelmed.
It's crazy going to an SEC
Yeah.
tailgate.
yeah.
I'd never seen anything like that. And I had season tickets to the Eagles for many years.
Yeah, for our listeners, if you've never been to an SEC tailgate because you're in wherever you're at, like, you need to go.
It's
Even-
worth the trip.
Yeah, especially for those who don't view South Carolina with the upper team, it is a fun event.
It is.
No, for sure. And I've heard.
Just wear our
I've never
colors,
been to an
we'll accept
Alabama
you.
game. I've never been to an Alabama game.
Me neither.
At a home game, but I've heard that is the number one environment in college football.
See, I've heard, and so I've heard.
I'm probably going to try to go to one next year.
I've heard two different ones. I've heard that LSU. There's nothing like an LSU game and tailgate.
Yeah, but you don't want to be there, man, if you're not a fan of LSU.
But
No, but I want
fans
their
are
food
so
and their
mean.
drink.
yeah, but so I had a bunch of buddies. WVU played them about 5 or 6 years ago down there with Geno Smith and Tavon Austin, and they said the fan. Now, granted, we were not an SEC school. They said the fans were fantastic.
Oh, were they?
They had no issues whatsoever.
Wow.
We're not SEC, so maybe it didn't matter.
I've just heard horror
But it was an
stories.
8 o'clock start. They said that stadium was rush. It was unbelievable.
No, it's the loudest stadium in the country
When they're rocking.
When they're rocking, yeah.
I've also heard that Ole Miss at the Grove has bar none the best tailgate there is.
Oh, really?
It's called the Grove. That's what
Oh,
I've heard.
about it too. Yeah.
I would go just for that. 'Cause I don't
Yeah.
care about, you know me. I don't care
Let's
about Lane
take
Kiffin.
guys at the bar talking
know what?
sports on the road.
Yeah, no shit. We're doing that
Yeah.
next season,
road,
baby.
road show. Yeah, there you go.
We just need more support from our listeners.
Yeah, if we can get some Venmo money, we're there.
But it would be fun to go to the Grove, to go to Alabama, to go to Baton Rouge,
Oh yeah.
to hit those places where I would go to. I haven't been. I've heard Georgia's. I heard the fan base is really great at Georgia. I've heard they're very, very nice.
Yeah.
I've been to a Florida.
Not to
basketball.
Florida team. Well, we don't ever play. We don't ever play home games in Georgia.
You are now.
No, we're not.
Yeah, have you not heard?
A what?
Well, it won't be a home game.
How have I not heard?
So they're remodeling the Jacksonville
Yeah,
Stadium.
no, it's gonna be. There's gonna be.
It's gonna be at Tampa.
2 games in Tampa and 2 games
in Atlanta, I think. Right?
in Atlanta. Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, now Tampa is a home game.
Yeah,
Gainesville is
Tampa's a
2
home-
hours from there.
Well, yeah, Tampa's sort of. I mean, so is Jacksonville. Jacksonville's an hour
Yeah,
and a half.
but I mean, the Georgia border is right there at Jacksonville. This time, this time it's a home. I mean, I lived in Tampa. It's a Florida town.
But just as many people that go to the Florida Georgia game in Jacksonville are going to go to the Florida. Every one of those people that are Georgia fans are going to end up in Tampa.
We
bro.
might have to go to that. Go to the old cocktail party in Tampa.
Dude, it is fun.
I love
mean,
that stadium. I
haven't-
love that stadium. I love it.
I haven't been in that game since 2002, probably. But I mean, it's probably head and shoulders above, because now it's the TikTok generation, right? So like they're gonna party their asses off and try to get on camera, so it makes it even more intense.
Well, I mean, I love the Buck Stadium.
Yeah.
I love it. I love going to games.
Oh, I hate that stadium.
Really?
I went to watch a Raiders game against them, and every time they scored,
with the
Oh,
ship
the
and
pirate ship is
oh my
amazing.
God, that stupid cannon.
I love the cannon.
Stupid cannon.
Yeah.
And I thought they would like blow it once when they got a touchdown. No.
6 times.
Plus the I was like, please don't go for 2. Please don't go for 2. Oh,
And the fans go crazy.
they do. And I was so happy when the Raiders beat them.
Oh, you gotta
I love
it, man.
going to a game there. I love
Oh
it.
yeah, it's a fun stadium, man.
Yeah.
And I will definitely
Not a bad seat to
take
go.
you up on that whenever Georgia plays Florida there, and loses to Florida there. So when Georgia loses to Florida there, I don't know when that's going to happen, but I think that we got a shot this season.
Actually, I thought it was this year.
2025?
I think so.
Yeah.
I want to say it's going to be in Tampa this time.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm almost certain that you're wrong on that one.
I might be. I know it's coming. I just thought it was.
Okay, but it's not a home game. They've been a home since like 1960.
I know, but
been a while.
I guess my thing is Jacksonville in the Florida. It's just right there at the Georgia line. Where this time it's a little more. It's a little more. Down
Okay,
there.
so will they play the cannon when the team
When each
score?
team probably scores, I'm sure, just because they got to be neutral on the.
they're going to sell the stadium's 50-50.
Yeah.
It's 50% Georgia, 50% Florida, but. Where they use the cannons or not? They don't use the cannons for the USF who plays there.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
But I mean, no one goes to USF games, so who cares? I mean,
All right, turn to the page. So Atlantic Sun, Sunbelt, Horizon League, Patriot League, Northeast Valley, Ohio Valley League, or whatever, Big South, all these conferences, these lower conferences are having the
best ones.
their champions.
I love these tournaments.
Do you?
They're in the little small gyms. You can hear the cheerleaders. These guys are playing. They're playing for that one chance.
One chance
to make the NCAA tournament. Get their ass kicked by somebody big, but they don't care because that's not only do they win the conference championship, they get to go to the NCAA tournament, play on CBS in front of Charles Barkley and Jim Nance and these guys. That's what they're playing for. I love it, man. Those gyms are. You got the gyms where it's got there's no stands behind the basket. It's like the baskets are screwed to the wall. Like high school gym.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
They pull
watching
the wooden bleachers
Yes,
out.
They pull the bleachers out.
Yeah.
I love that. Winthrop right up here, Furman right over here. I mean, Walford. These guys get to play in those. They're so much fun. Only one team gets to go.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that shit because in the Big 12 and the SEC, 9 teams are going to go whether they get knocked out of the first round of their conference tournament. I mean, the SEC tournament will be fun this year because of all the powerhouses, but it doesn't mean anything. We already know who the number ones. Florida's Alabama. But those little small conferences, I love that shit, man. I love it because they're playing for it all.
Well, I might have to watch them this week.
They're
They've already
fun.
started, actually.
Yeah, and some of them are. They start out. A lot of them start out playing on home court.
Yeah, Atlantic Sun started yesterday. I think.
But then when they get to like the quarterfinal or the final four, it goes to tournaments from like we were in high school and shit.
Okay.
It's so awesome. I love it.
But they have so much heart, too.
Yeah, they do.
No, those guys are playing as hard as they can because they want to make the freaking tournament.
And one of those
Yeah.
teams will pull an upset.
Yeah.
In the NCAA tournament, they always do. One of them will. One of them will pull an
yeah.
upset.
Yeah,
That's what's kind of cool too.
A 15 seed will beat
A 14, a 15, a 13, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're really lucky, a 16 seed.
It's happened twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Teams to watch out for in one of those conferences, Drake. Okay, so Drake has beat Missouri. They're in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
They've beat Miami, Kansas State, and Vanderbilt. Now, Kansas State's not the team that they've been, but Vanderbilt has beat some pretty major teams in the SEC already. So is Kansas State. I mean, they're a good team, right? And then Miami and the ACC, but still, they're not that good. But still, to beat those types of teams right there, they might have a chance to be that team that pulls off the upset.
So I have a little bit of a tie to Drake.
Oh, do you? Tell me
So
more.
West Virginia's coach this year, Darren DeVries, was Drake's coach the last 4 years, and he took Drake to the NCAA tournament every year.
Okay.
And he left, and he only brought one guy with him from Drake to West Virginia, and that was his kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that Drake team, they are loaded.
Yeah,
I mean, they are good. Those guys all stayed. I think I want to say that his assistant coach stayed there and got the job. So yeah, no, Drake does not surprise me at all.
Yeah,
they're actually good enough to where if they win, they'll probably be a 12 seed or something. You know what I mean? They won't be a 13 or a 15.
Yeah, they're 26-4. They're going to be fine.
They're good.
Virginia Commonwealth University is 24-5.
But aren't they in the Atlantic 10 or something like that? They're not.
so,
they're
yeah.
not in a bad conference. They're in a
but-
decent conference. I mean,
Yeah, and then UC San Diego, they're 26-4 as well. Most of their wins have been by 20+ points.
how about like Belmont, Vermont, the usuals? Belmont, Vermont.
Didn't Yale make a little run
Yale.
last year in the
Yeah.
tournament? They had 2 upsets. I think they made the round of.
Something like that. Princeton.
They didn't make this. No, they think they made the Sweet 16 last year, didn't they?
I actually had them going pretty far.
Yale.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I think
That
anyone had
was
Yale
the
going
one
for
thing
it.
that made me look good.
Princeton, that Fairleigh Dickinson's one that always pulls an upset or
Oh, yeah.
two. I mean, there's those little teams that you always watch for them. You know,
Yeah.
Belmont sticks in my head because I feel like one year they beat Kansas and next year they beat Duke. They had like a run there where they just were giant killers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like those too.
I love that.
Yeah.
4 lowest seeded teams from those lower conferences end up playing in the first 4. So, and then also
There's
that's the 4. That's 2 of the games, and then it's the 4 lowest seeded teams that are
the last 4 to make it in the tournament.
yeah.
They're called the last 4.
The last 4, yeah, and that'll be like North Carolina, maybe Kansas,
West Virginia's looking
teams
at that.
like that. West Virginia,
West
yeah.
Virginia's on that bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now we either so it's so weird because they call the round of 64 the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the
Because you have the first 4 games.
Yeah, West Virginia right now is the last 4 teams to get a bye, which means they're the last 4 teams in the 64 field. But they may play their way into that first 4. I hope not. I want them to be in the actual thing. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the first 4 is part of the tournament, but we still call it playing games, right?
Oh yeah,
I still look at it.
Yeah, the brackets come out on Sunday and they play on what, Tuesday, Wednesday,
in
something
Dayton,
like that?
in
yeah,
Dayton,
in
yeah.
Dayton, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Are we looking at an all SEC Final Four? That would be crazy. Could that happen?
Not happen.
No,
Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn.
it's possible, but it's not probable.
No, I think 2 of them get in.
2 of them.
I think Duke and Houston are probably the other 2.
Duke.
As
I mean,
exciting,
Houston's good. I'm not
yeah,
going to put it past them.
they're. I mean, you remember that Virginia team that won it all a few years ago?
Yeah.
And they beat teams like 50-30. Their defense was just
Is that 2019 or something?
Yeah, their defense was so smothered, and you just couldn't score. You couldn't score on them, and they held the ball for 24 seconds every time they had the ball.
Yeah.
And that's Houston just smothers you. I mean, if you don't score on your possession, you're going to be down by 4 points, 8 points, 12 points. I mean, you just cannot get ahead on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think as fun as this tournament's going to be, when the Final Four comes out, it's going to be chalk. You're going to have a couple 1s and a couple 2s.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, one of those ones. I mean, looking at
Auburn and Duke to me should make the Final Four. There shouldn't be any question of that. They're both so damn good. I mean,
Yeah.
I was watching.
I just think Duke does not have. Auburn.
They won last night, right? They beat Wake Forest last night.
but Auburn has been challenged and they've won those games, right? Duke, I just don't know. They've been challenged with that a team like Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida.
Yeah, but I mean,
have been challenged.
if you're a 1,
Houston's been challenged.
Houston's
Maybe
been challenged, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a 1, you play 8-9, and then you may play 5-12, 4-13. I mean, you really don't get challenged until the Elite 8,
Yeah.
where you could be playing that 2 seed.
Yeah.
And Duke just carries on. I mean, look, I can't stand them. But this team, there's something about this team that they're not like those old Coach K teams. They're not finesse. They are tough. They're aggressive. They're tough. They're big. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think, like you say, Auburn, you watch them and you're like, oh, this might be a game they trip up in. They're on the road. Nope. They just keep winning. Auburn, Duke, Houston, and either Florida, Alabama, or Tennessee. One of those 3 will be in the final.
If Florida's hot, they have a chance to go all the way.
Yep.
I don't doubt that, but being a Florida fan, I've always, you know how it is, right?
You're going to pick them to go all the way.
No, well, hold on. I'm doing 2 brackets, right? So I'm gonna announce it now to anyone that's in the bracket challenge that I'm doing through the ESPN March Madness thing. Yes, one of them will be Florida. I'm announcing that now, okay? But I'm not going to say who my other one will be. But yeah, obviously I'm a Florida fan, and they're doing very well this year.
I like them. I like them.
Just like UConn was in it a couple of years ago, and I like UConn. You know, I grew up in Connecticut when I was a kid, and so the last 2 years I chose UConn. Even 2 years ago when they weren't even expected to go that far because they were like a 4 or 5 seed, I think.
Yeah, but they went in so hot.
They went in so hot,
I mean,
yeah. And I was like, and I called it halfway through the season. I was like, whoa. This is a team. If they're playing good, they're going to win the national.
Yeah, when they won that Big East, I think they won the Big East championship, or they either lost it. But I remember going.
No, they lost that year to
Marquette or somebody, right?
Was it Marquette or? Yeah, I think it was Marquette.
I remember thinking they're going to win it all. They just looked like they're going to win it all, and they did.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, they had a benefit of a Final Four that was kind of watered down that year, but still, they were still good.
And Florida's pretty hot. I mean, I think that they have a chance, but being a Florida fan, it's always just in the back of my mind, like, oh my God, these guys are just going to fall apart.
You sound like a West Virginia fan.
No, I know. I mean, but it's a hangover from football, man. Because like it seems like we're going to do good. And then,
all I'm going to tell you is enjoy this, because I was like you, West Virginia from 2007 till about 2018, we were always in the tournament. We were always in the Sweet 16. We had a Final Four run. We had an Elite 8 run. We won the NIT. And I remember just being, and now I'm sitting there going, I just want to get in. So just remember the good time. Just remember the good times.
Please, just let us in.
I don't care if I'm a bubble team. Just get me in. You know what I mean? Just remember the good times. You know what I mean?
All right. So
that sounds like a Redskins leftover too. Sorry.
I don't think I've ever mentioned the NBA on this show.
What?
They still do that?
Well, is there such thing? Yeah. Just so y'all listeners know, NBA is still around, right? I've never mentioned it on this show just because I'm not a big NBA fan.
It's big in China, I hear.
But holy crap! Yeah, so maybe our Chinese listeners, because we had 1 week where 150 people from China listen to the show.
The bots from China.
150 people from China listen to the show. I was like, holy shit.
Shay Shay Day.
That's,
I know.
That explains all the
That's more than
spam. That explains all the spam calls I keep getting. Then
That's more than our German listeners that are on like American military bases or something. But yeah, so NBA, man, do they not care about defense at all? Because do you remember growing up, there was not games that were like 150 to 140. And like it seems like it's a regular occurrence now in the NBA where there's a game that goes over 130 points apiece.
yeah. So
The guys are bigger and better.
I remember back when I was a kid. I remember being a Laker fan from the 80s.
120 was a lot of points back then.
But I remember if you go back and look at those scores in the finals when the Lakers and Celtics battled in the 80s, 86, 87, the final scores were like 108, 105.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
not 150
but they were
to 140.
No, and they were bloodbaths. I mean, remember the Pistons were just brutal, and the Celtics and Lakers always seemed to get into a fight somehow or another. But they didn't call fouls every time they were down the floor either. So there was a time in the 90s when I was still kind of hanging after Jordan's second retirement, when I was still kind of hanging on because the Lakers got Shaquille and drafted and traded for Kobe Bryant, and I'm like, okay, the games were like the final scores would be like 83 to 79, and it was awful.
Like college games.
Yes, it was terrible. And I remember, can they get back to the hundreds? But now they're in the high hundreds. It's like 127, 120. It's like, my goodness.
What is it, an hour-long game, 60 minutes?
Well, I mean, shot
4 15-minute quarters, right?
Periods, not quarters, periods.
4 periods, whatever.
Yeah.
4 15-minute periods. In order to score...
No, it's 12-minute periods. They play 48 minutes.
See, as much as I watch NBA, right? So
I would have sworn I was on your side.
Yeah, so
it's 12-minute periods.
So if it's 48 minutes, like you would literally have to get the ball, throw it across the court, score. The other team gets the ball, throw it across the court, score. Like to get 150 points apiece.
Well, how many foul shots are they shooting? Because I feel like when I do try to watch a little bit,
just blows my mind, man.
It's foul, and they shoot a ton of threes.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's beautiful amount of threes.
Shoot, I mean, you got boy pulling up shooting half courts. He started that. What's his name? Curry. He started. I mean, that half
Steph
court.
Curry, yeah.
I mean, now, granted, he made a lot of them, but it just felt like the game changed with his. I mean,
you're starting to see that in college basketball too. I've seen a couple of people. 6 feet back from the 3-point line.
Well, shit, Caitlin Clark. How many did Caitlin Clark do that when she was at Iowa? I mean, good Lord, she was pulling up well behind the 3-point line and making them.
Yeah, I just
that's exhausting.
I mean, I guess it makes
I'd rather be closer and get two.
I'm telling you, they're not fun to watch in person either. I've been to 3 NBA games and none of them were any good.
Oh, really? See, I've been to a couple Magic games back in the day.
So I went to two Magic and a Laker game, and it's just.
I got to see Lakers and Celtics.
I saw Lakers and Nuggets a couple years ago out in L.A.
I mean, I loved basketball in the 90s with, late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. About 94 or so, 95.
Around that Dream Team time, it was the prime of
it was
NBA.
Prime,
You had,
everyone was into it, yeah.
Every team had 2 guys.
Yeah.
Every team that was good had 2 guys.
Oh, yeah. And it was fun to watch.
The playoffs were the best.
Yeah.
But it's.
What are they doing wrong in the NBA, man?
I don't know if they're doing anything wrong. Because to be honest with you, it's really popular with the kids. I mean, is it? Yeah. I mean, I think my
still
dad
selling sneakers.
My dad didn't like the NBA that I liked, and I don't like the NBA that my kid likes. I think maybe it's just the way the game trends. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. Because I was a huge NBA fan as a kid, and
I loved it. My dad was like, "This ain't the same as it was with Jerry West played." And I'm like, "Well, this ain't the same as it was with Magic played." And, you know what I mean? So it's. It's an old man thing.
We're just old.
It's an old white man thing, I guess.
It's gotta be. We're just too old and white.
I am
they
white.
keep changing the NBA logo to update it. And
Nah, you can't leave Jerry West on there now. That's West Virginia. We ain't got a whole lot in West Virginia. Leave him on there.
Yeah.
Plus he's dead.
Yeah.
That's the least they can do.
I just thought it was odd because I was watching sports the other day. I was like, holy shit, these guys are scoring 150 points a game.
Yeah.
Regularly. To me, it just blew my mind.
Listen,
but it's gotta be fun to watch. It's gotta be fun to watch as a fan to have your guys scoring.
If you like that, yeah. I'll say that. I wish I liked the NBA.
Yeah.
Because there's games every night.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like football. You love the fact that there's football Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday.
Yeah.
But I can't get into it. I just can't.
NBA's even on Christmas.
So
the NFL's stealing that from them.
Yeah, they are.
You're right. It's on Christmas.
Yeah.
I used to work for a company that had a headquarters in Oklahoma City, and I went to the headquarters a couple times for meetings and stuff like that. And man, the Oklahoma City Thunder has a freaking major following.
Oh yeah, they're big there.
Oh,
again,
huge.
small town.
Small town.
Only thing going on. I mean,
oh yeah, like our our CEO had season tickets and he had a box up there and stuff. I mean, it was
And it's like when
insane.
the Seattle Supersonics were that was their big thing in Seattle, and then Portland Trailblazers was huge. I mean, they might still be, but that's all they had. I mean, you got to think. I mean, I guess at when the Charlotte
Orlando Magic is huge in Orlando actually.
especially when Shaq was there.
Well,
but-
think about the
Oh,
Utah
yeah.
Jazz.
yeah.
They got nothing.
They love their Jazz, and
Yeah.
and the Pacers are big. But when the original Charlotte Hornets were in, they were the hottest ticket on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
people in West Virginia would go to Charlotte to watch the Hornets play. And we had the Bullets and the Sixers, but really, as NBA goes, there really wasn't a lot around us
Okay.
because Ohio didn't have a team,
No, they don't.
and
Like
Pittsburgh doesn't have a
Wait,
team.
Hold on, Cleveland. I was always
Oh, the
gonna-
Cavs.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Cavs.
you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking Cincinnati. I'm thinking Columbus. Pittsburgh didn't have any. I mean, so you had Philly and you had the Charlotte Hornets
Okay.
and the Washington Bullets. No one cared, but the Hornets were hip. You had Lonzo Mourning, you had Muggsy Boggs, you had Larry Johnson, you had Rex Chapman. They were fun back then.
Muggsy Boggs was like 5'6" or something.
5'3".
5'3".
No, he's actually taller than you guys think he is.
Well, he was listed as 5'3".
Did he wear stilts?
Yeah, he's actually closer to 5'8".
No,
No.
no, he's not.
I delved
Are you
into
thinking?
it.
You're thinking of Spud Webb?
No,
You're thinking of Spud Webb,
no,
yeah.
I dug into it because of that. Because people used to say, because I was so short, and people used to call me Muggsy, and then they switched to Cheeks. But,
Cheeks.
Yeah.
Maurice Cheeks, another NBA player.
Do you know why she's called Cheeks? Mo Cheeks. Because she's got Mo Cheeks.
That's funny because Maurice Cheeks was called Mo Cheeks.
Oh no,
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't they the same people?
I have no idea.
Yes, they're the same.
Yeah.
Maurice Cheeks from the 76ers.
From the 76ers, yes.
Yeah.
That's where I got the name from.
That's where you got the name from.
Yep.
So you have an NBA name.
I do.
Holy
I have an
shit!
NBA name.
It all comes out in the wash now, huh?
Mo,
Yeah.
See, Mo Cheeks played with Dr. J and Charles Barkley, right?
Yes. I was walking down the hallway in high school, and my brother's friends started calling me Cheeks because I was 4'11" and I had a posterior.
So you're not really named after Mo
Gladys.
Cheeks.
No.
Hold on.
It was that. And
Would
I
it have
said,
made would that posterior have made good TikTok videos nowadays or what?
oh, yeah. Yeah. I was flat chested and short and skinny, but I had a butt.
With a posterior
and
that
I
comes
walked
up
up to Andy Fredericks. I hope he's listening. I walked up to Andy Fredericks, and as short as I was and as tall as he was, I threatened his life. And he goes, "No, he's a 76er."
All right, Cheeks. What the fuck, Cheeks? I know. I already got to go. What the fuck are they?
My what the fuck is sadly Darius Slay is being let go by the Eagles. But you know what? As sad as I was, he gets to go out on a high note. But I did look at his statistics with the Lions and then with us, and he is dwindling. So this brings to conversation at 34. How is your life over? How's your career over?
You made enough money to survive for the rest of your life at that point.
Yeah.
I would retire right now.
He's probably been playing football since he was 6 years old.
And you get a contract with some sort of, sports show or some crap at that point,
Or he's going to get picked up by somebody. I'm sure he's
Or
going to
you
get
pick
picked
up
up.
by somebody, yeah.
But it's going to save them $4.3 million, and they'll be able to. And they're making a lot of changes right now. But they've got DeJean and Mitchell who came on board quickly. They both had a spectacular year, and their statistics are better than Darius's. Oh,
There's a lot of decisions made about salary caps, I'm sure.
yeah.
We're supposed to go up this year, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, and I cannot fight Howie Roseman. He's put together an amazing team, and we won a Super Bowl. We've been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, and we had a great season.
That's the Eagles is the we.
Yeah, with a phenomenal finish. I mean, it's got an exclamation point next to their name. So, it just makes me sad.
Are they coming back next year?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
They got to get past the Commanders first.
And the Patriots.
I think we're going to have a great division. I think the NFC East is going to be one to. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do a damn thing, but
I don't know. I mean,
they've got a new coach.
yeah. I mean, people. I mean, I know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I think Dak's pretty decent, and he plays the whole season. They win games. That's been proven.
Right. He can be a good player, but he needs other players.
Yeah, but,
and a coach.
Well, yeah.
And now they've got disposer coach.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think the Cowboys are out of it for any means. They're going to be right there in the mix. I don't think we're going to be as. I don't think Washington will be as good as they were last year. They're not going to be 13-5.
I disagree with you on that.
I think we're going to be more like 10-7 probably.
You
but
were
we're going to
so
be dangerous.
down on your team.
No,
huh?
no. Look, we're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But I think we're not going to. I mean, we snuck up the first 5 or 6 weeks. We snuck up on people. You know what I mean? I mean, they snuck up on people. That's not going to happen this year.
I think we might split a win-loss. With you?
We split a win-loss with you last. Well, minus the playoff game, but we split a win-loss last year.
I was going to say.
I don't want to hear shit about Kenny Pickett because you guys played.
Yeah.
How many years you play against shit on our quarterback side for years? So I don't want to hear about Kenny Pickett playing a half of football.
But it still makes a huge difference when your quarterback goes out injured. Mentally, it really plays
we
on
threw
you.
We had 5 turnovers in that game and still come back and won.
But not much, but yes.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, let's talk about the playoff game now.
I'm just saying, I don't want to hear the Kenny Pickett excuse.
I would love to talk about the playoff game. You want to talk about the playoff game?
This is the best bar talk I've seen yet on our show for 5 fucking seasons.
I just hear a lot of Eagles, and you included. Well, Kenny Pickett, I don't want to hear it. We had 5 turnovers, and Daniels threw 5 touchdowns on your defense. Had nothing to do with Kenny Pickett.
No,
and by the way, Kenny Pickett played really well in that game.
You know how amazing our defense is, but once again, I'm going to tell you, whenever you have someone as amazing as Hurts goes out, you know it's going to play games with your head.
Hey, next man up. You guys beat us for so many years when we had Heineke and Haskins and Sanchez, all these shit quarterbacks.
We bought Sanchez off of you. That was a bad idea.
Well, but all these shit quarterbacks, and y'all want to complain about putting Kenny Pickett in for a half and losing. I don't know.
And you know who we're going after next? We're getting Zach Ertz. We're taking him back.
No, he's at home.
He's coming back to us.
Super Bowl champs, Washington Commanders next season. And then they're going to change their name to the Washington Redskins the day before the Super Bowl.
That's never happening, but
yep, that's
you're going to be the Commanders for the rest of your life now.
Yep.
But I mean, if they win a Super Bowl, if they ever win a Super Bowl, why would you? I mean, the Commanders. I mean, eventually, 10 years from now, the name's not going to mean nothing.
No, it won't.
Because I'm sure when in 1976, when the Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out, people thought that was the 2 dumbest names they'd ever heard in their life.
Dumbest names ever.
And then I remember when the Panthers and Jaguars came out, and I thought the Jaguars sounded like a Bush League. I thought that's stupid, Jaguars.
Yep.
But no one cares now.
I always thought the Dolphins was a stupid name.
I'm sure in the 70s when that came out with those collars, people were like, "What?
Do you even know what the Dolphin is?" Like, jeez, man.
Yeah, but in the 70s, those collars too, that teal and orange.
Oh
yeah.
I'm sure that in a machismo world, I'm sure that didn't.
My brother had to have that stupid jacket, and I thought that was the ugliest thing. Ugh.
So over time, the names they grow on you. It is what it is.
All right, so we started off with wrestling. We moved through NFL and the combine. We got some college football in. We got some college basketball in. We even got some NBA in, and then we got some Dolphin in. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up unless you got a what the fuck.
I got a hockey segment here.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Just real quick, I have no basis for this, no science, but I'm telling you now, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to be in the Stanley Cup.
Well, they're a good team almost every year, aren't they?
Pretty much. But
yeah. I mean, even a guy that has never watched a full hockey game in his entire life.
I'm a Lightning fan.
I know that the Lightning they have a really good crowd there every game.
I love going to Lightning games.
Oh yeah,
they're so fun.
I have some friends from Kissimmee, Florida, who his wife, he's probably like late 60s or something like that, and his 2 kids, their spouses, and all their kids go to those games like every week, man.
Yeah, Lightning games are fun.
Like it's insane. They drive all the way from Kissimmee to go to those games.
Yeah, they're going to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
you heard it first.
Good team. Okay.
But hockey games are fun. Period.
Even
the Hershey Bears are a blast.
Yeah, I've only been to the ones at Tampa, and I loved it. Because I never cared about hockey until I moved to Florida.
Dude, I'm telling you, I swear, like every hockey fan that I know is like freaking die hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they go to the games and they love the games.
Yeah, I'm still a Flyers fan.
I've only been to, when I was backpacking Europe in the early 2000s. I went to a hockey game in England, and it was just like some minor league hockey team. There's nothing better when those guys slam across on that freaking that plexiglass, and boom, like 4 guys hit it. You're like, holy shit. It's insane.
I'll tell you, hockey.
I should become a hockey fan.
There's some sports.
You should.
There's sports that like you go like. There's some sports like I think we all admit NFL, college. It's fun to go in person, but it's better to watch it at home. You see more. But when you go to hockey in person, you see it's amazing that you can track that puck in person.
Yeah.
You can see everything going on. First off, on TV, the ice looks like it's 100 yards long.
Yeah.
But then you get there, it's no bigger than a basketball court.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can actually see what's going on. And you're on the edge of your seat. And every time you see a shot on goal, my wife and daughter don't care about sport. They love going to hocky games.
And you have to pay attention because that puck comes at you.
Well, we don't.
It goes over the plexiglass.
We always sit up where the puck won't ever get up there to you. But no, I'm telling you.
Cheap seats.
Yeah, but I mean, there ain't no cheap seats at Tampa, baby. But anyway, they're fun as shit in person. I love them, and I wish there was one. I mean, I know Raleigh's I guess Raleigh's the closest.
Yeah, there's a guy that's
No,
in
you
my.
can go North Charleston. You go see minor league.
Yeah,
No,
NHL's where it's at. Though.
There's a guy I know that goes up to Raleigh every so often to watch games. And I'm just like, really? You're going to go all the way there to watch a game? He's like, oh,
Yeah.
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 You know what? I am now an aspiring hockey fan, okay?
Yeah.
I will say this. When the Stanley Cup playoffs come on, I watch them.
Do you?
I absolutely do.
So
Did you
should we
guys
do
not
a-
catch any of the Four Nations? That was good.
I didn't, but my understanding is hockey really sunk the NBA during that little bit of time because I guess the
Did it?
NBA,
Yeah.
the NBA All Star was going on at the same time as that first
I
Canada.
forgot all about that.
Yeah, the first was it the first Canada US where the US beat them in Montreal.
Yeah.
That started the whole shit talk, and then of course US got beat in Boston. But yeah, I've heard the Four Nations was everyone was raving about it.
It was great.
It was like hockey's
So
shining
good.
moment.
Yeah.
Canada won it all, huh?
They usually do.
Eh?
They usually do.
Yeah, they do have the best players in the world.
But the United States is right.
All
there.
right.
Yeah.
So the one thing I know is that 90% of the people that play on whoever won the Stanley Cup last year in Miami, was that?
It was the Florida Panthers.
The Florida Panthers, like.
Oh, wait a minute. Was it the Florida Panthers that won last year?
Yeah. So.
I don't know if that's right.
All right. So whatever the Miami team is, right? There was a Facebook post that we made on the group.
Oh, yeah.
And it went viral.
Yeah.
And literally, like, it was like thousands upon
huge.
thousands of people were looking at it, and we had like 1,000 people join the group in like a week. It was just
Yeah.
insane for me trying to figure out how to manage that activity. And
And it was about Canadians
Canadians
playing.
Canadians playing on the Miami Hurricanes, or whatever the team is down there.
Yeah, it was the Panthers. They got up 3-0 on Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it went 7.
They
Yeah.
said there were more Canadians playing on that team than in Canada.
Then on the Canadian team, yeah, there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean-
the best team in the country in the NHL is a primarily Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, the Lightning,
players,
all those years, Stamkos was Canadian, Hedman was Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Kucherov was Russian. Sergikev, I can't think of his last name. I think they might have had a couple of Americans on the Lightning, but most of them were foreign guys. Yeah.
So we talked about wrestling, NBA, and NHL now. Are we going to talk about professional volleyball next or what?
No, spring training is going on in baseball.
Oh, spring training. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
spring.
But I haven't
training.
paid attention, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not worthwhile yet.
Spring training is fun in person. That's something else that I do.
Yeah.
miss.
When you play 100 and what? How many games do they play? 170?
162.
162 games. When you play 162 games, nothing's worthwhile until what? October?
After the All-Star game is when it really gets going.
What is that? Late August?
No,
Early September?
it's usually the Tuesday after the 4th of July.
Oh,
It's like July 10th.
I followed the
That-
Dodgers and the Phillies all season, so
I don't follow it. I look at the stats for the Red Sox because I've been a Red Sox fan all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if they happen to make it into the playoffs, I start watching.
the
baseball.
Orioles have gotten back to being good again, so I do watch them from time to time.
Did you guys enjoy the World Series last year?
Well, I know we sat here one night and you were all crazy
Yeah.
watching. Yeah, I mean, I was glad the Yankees lost. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It was the Yankees and the Dodgers?
Yeah,
Yes.
I will say we did watch a game. Game 1 was exciting because it went extra, and it was a walk. Was it a walk off? It was a
Yeah,
walk off on
yeah.
and that pretty much did the Yankees in. I think.
And a friend of ours, because we were at the Halloween party, and a friend of ours was in my face screaming words at me that it would make my mom blush.
It was Freddie Freeman hit the walk off, right?
Yes.
And then he did it again.
Yeah.
He had like a streak. He had a
he-
streak of home runs, right?
He hit home runs in every game.
7 straight or
Remember?
something? Yeah.
Because he broke the record.
yeah, 7 straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a baseball show every week then or what?
I mean,
Well, now that we just brought in the MLB.
So if you're a new listener to the show, you've never gone beyond, what, January on the show?
Right.
Or early February, like right after the Super Bowl is like the
Right.
latest show we've ever done. We're in uncharted waters right now, okay?
we got the draft coming up. We got the
Uncharted waters. I've committed to trying to do the show every week through that, but
Listen, we got 3 big things coming up.
Yeah.
We got March Madness.
we do have March Madness.
We got the Masters.
okay.
and we got the NFL
Can we
draft.
do a whole show on the Masters?
Oh my God.
I could. I love
The Masters are in April.
What do you?
Yeah.
I mean, we're in
It's
March
the-
Madness is going to eat this month. Yeah, the Final Four happens the first weekend of April. The next Tuesday is when the Masters start.
Yeah. Yeah, the final game of basketball is on that Monday.
Monday.
Then Tuesday is when the Masters
I mean, the
start.
Masters actually starts on Monday, but the practice rounds runs
Yeah.
Thursday. So
Yeah.
Jim Nance, of course, he's not calling the Final Four anymore.
Okay.
But he used to jump on the plane and go straight to Augusta to get ready for the Masters.
Wow.
And then the NFL draft is what, two weeks later?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So April is a
We go in the
Busy
May.
month.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if we have the commitment around here. Are you committed? Are you committed? All right, I'm okay to do it. And we're, like I said, we're in uncharted waters right now as a podcast, and we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out for the listeners because we are the best podcast in the country right now. What are you talking about? Golf?
Cornhole.
Oh, listeners, if you've made it this far into the show, if you happen to make it this far into the show, we do have it used to be called the Big Earn Cornhole Tournament. What is it called now?
Midlands Children's Charity Cornhole Tournament.
We do have that coming up on April 4th.
5th, I think.
April 5th.
It's the first Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. So if you would like to, and where's that at?
It's now going to be at Pollywogs, which is just off of Two Notch Road. Mm-hmm. Catty corner to the Nissan dealership on Two Notch.
So if you are a sports fan and you like to be competitive, it's definitely worth getting a team to join the cornhole tournament. And if you can do that by doing what? How do we figure? Oh, you know what? We'll post on the Facebook group, and then that'll allow you to go ahead and sign up for your team. You can also donate to the children's charities of the Midlands. I don't think anyone would turn that down, would they?
No, why not donate and play?
Donate and play. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
and you might win some.
I mean, I donate every year a significant amount of money, so I think everyone. I think everyone at the stable does.
Yeah, my first full year in this area, Gary and the charity has gotten quite a bit of money, which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, they do really good things for the world.
Between golf and
Polar Bear Plunge,
and a couple other things. I mean, again, I'll always support it.
Oh yeah,
I'll always support it.
Nothing better than
great
that.
charity.
Oh
Great
yeah.
charity.
So Children's Charities of the Midlands, they have a cornhole tournament coming up on April 5th. You could probably Google it, but if not, go to the Facebook group and you will see a post for it. So that being said, that's my what the fuck is what the fuck? Why are you not having a cornhole team of your own to try to win some? Is it money? You could win money, right?
Yes.
You could win some money and donate to a good
plaques,
cause. And plaques. You know, and you could
We can hang the plaque right in here if we win.
Is Jen's son playing? You can try to beat
I don't know. I think
12-year-old or whatever, 13-year-old?
Yeah, he's 12 now.
Is he
Yeah,
12?
the very first tournament, he went
won
all
it.
the way. He won it.
I know. So try to beat a 12-year-old. They used to bring up professionals. I don't know. Are they doing that this year as well? Or do you know?
I don't know the details this year, unfortunately. But when we get them, we will roll them out on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.
We will. All right.
One last thing. Sorry.
Oh, jeez, man.
Is there any chance?
An hour and 30 minutes in the show.
That's okay. Break it up into two. Is there any chance
Not so fast.
that Landon, the legend, is going to give us some call-ins with his picks in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, that would be great. I'll
Maybe
talk
his
to
Final Four or his Sweet 16. Just to hear him talk and tell us his teams would be great.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I will ask, because we do the shows on Tuesday, and then the games start, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Thursday at noon.
Yeah, so we can...
At least get a Final Four out of him, just to hear his little voice say West Virginia. He won't say that, but I'm just saying, he'll say Tennessee, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of Tennessee.
For those that are new to listening to the show, Landon the Legend is I think he's a 4-year-old kid. I think he's 3 or 4, and he sends in his picks every week for the football games. So
Play him.
let's try. I don't have it listed, man. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to use my little program anymore. Hold on.
Not so fast.
Oh, let's do that. I know where that's at. Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening to the show. This is Guys at the Bar Talking.
Everything.
Sports.
Everything, exactly. And sports.
Smorgasbord.
And wrestling.